fantastic adventure. It's Talkamania.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of your favorite podtastic adventure. It's Talkamania. I'm your co-host here, Desmino, with my tag team partner, J-Bomb. Say howdy, J-Bomb.
What's up, Desmond? How you doing?
Good, good. I'm excited to be back here for another week. It's hot, it's the summer, and we're heading into SummerSlam. And it's a pretty stacked card, might I add.
Hey, dude, two podcasts in 1 week. It's pretty good.
That is pretty good. So, guys, check out the other one we did this week, please. We did our early predictions this week, SummerSlam, with Raphael, who was our special host. It was awesome. We had a good time. We talked about the matches, and we're going to do it again tonight because, tell the folks at home what we're up against this week.
Because those stupid Yanks from down south at the Irish Whip podcast think that they're better than a couple of Canucks north of the border in predicting pay-per-views. So at the end of this episode, we're going to give our revised picks because, like you said, when we talked to Raph, it was basically, we didn't watch Raw, we didn't watch Smackdown. So if we're going to go in this and accept the challenge from another podcast, we want to have all the information required. So we're going to just skim over that at the end of the episode. So Irish Whip Podcast, we're making you listen to the whole goddamn episode.
That's right. Also, when we did our picks early in the week, we were all giving our own opinionated picks. So we're going team for team here. Talkamania is going to be collaborating. We're going to be working together. And J-Bomb and I are going to try to work together and make our, combined picks. We're gonna share.
Team Talkamania, baby.
Team Talkamania. And also, they've added a Raw tag team title match now to SummerSlam, where the B team is taking on the Revival. So,
and we didn't even give a prediction with Raphael about the cruiserweights. Is it because nobody cares?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm actually kind of somewhat interested in this match just because, I don't know, I kind of like what they're doing with Gulak, so we'll see. We're going to get into that, folks, in a bit, but we want to let you know you are listening to Talkamania. You can follow us at _Talkamania. That is on the Twitter. We also have some awesome merch for sale at ProWrestlingTees.com/Talkamania. And hell, tell our listeners at home who just became a Talkamaniac.
That's true, eh? Pete. I don't want to butcher his Twitter handle, so I'm just going to search him real quick. But our boy Pete over at Petopolis just purchased a Talkamania t-shirt. I sent him a quick message on Twitter. This guy's so humble, man. He doesn't even need the plug, but we're gonna plug
him anyways, man. You're always interacting with us. We love it, man. So again, thanks for everything you do. Keep listening, tell your friends, and enjoy that awesome merch.
He also said he's gonna wear it to All In for us.
Oh wow, that's awesome, bud. Take a picture. We'd love to see it.
Yeah. So if you want to check Pete's shit out, again, on Twitter at Petopolis. If you don't know how to spell it, it's PETEOPOLIS. He live streams vids, twitch.com/Petopolis. And he's also got a WordPress site, petopolis.wordpress.com. He's given his SummerSlam predictions, and he also has some fantasy booking for Roman and Brock. So if you haven't checked it out, Go check it out. And if you haven't followed him, give the guy a follow. He's such a good supporter of the show. I fucking love that guy.
Love you, buddy. All right, that's some awesome news heading into this week's podcast. But we got a little bit of sad news. The week started off a bit sad with the passing of Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Terrible, terrible news. Our condolences go out to Natalia, TJ, the rest of the Hart family. I know Brett's pretty shooken up as well, too. And I guess the reality of it is, it's kind of creepy when you look at it. I saw the picture, and I think we had posted it on our social media of the Hart Foundation, and they're all grayed out except for Bret Hart as the last survivor of the Hart Foundation. Very sad, and it must have been really hard for Natty. She was only tweeting in a couple of hours before it happened, so I guess it kind of blindsided everybody. It's a terrible accident, and again, very, very sad news.
I know the news kind of came out of nowhere, and I assumed that, because I watched Total Divas, and he's got a pretty big role on it, and I thought for sure it would have been like maybe heart related, you know, because he's got like his demons and stuff like that. And then when I heard that it was from a fall, it was just like super heartbreaking, man. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. He always had the red face going, so I always kind of figured. You know, we look at the Ultimate Warrior as well too. You know, he had a really red face, and I was kind of like, oh well, maybe it must be his heart. It's quite possible. You know, a lot of these guys took painkillers to fight the pain earlier on in their careers. It does wear and tear, but yeah, apparently a seizure caused it, and he fell and hit his head and had an accident. It's terrible. But again, we don't want to remember the bad times about Jim the Anvil Neidhart. We want to remember the good times. And the good times for me was, hey man, me, my boy J-Bomb, watching those VHS tapes, the Hart Foundation versus the Rockers.
So good, eh? Oriental Express.
I think that was kind of what really was one of the first matches that really got me into wrestling was the Rockers versus the Hart Foundation.
You know what was so cool? Like you mentioned, those old VHSs. It was so fun because it would always start off with the tag match, and like 9 out of 10 times it was the Rockers. I know we're talking about the Hart Foundation, but like you just completely made something go off in my mind. It was so cool to rent it, and you knew that the first match would be, you know, Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty against, you know, like Oriental Express or even the Hart Foundation or Demolition. But yeah, I just remember like, you know, Jim and Brett, man. It was just such a cool, what's the word I'm looking for? They were just like they complemented each other so well. Brett being so technical, Anvil being such a powerhouse, you know?
Yeah, it was amazing. So again, I think I might do myself a favor and check out some vintage footage this weekend. You guys should do so yourself. If you're not familiar with Jim the Anvil Neidhart, go back and take a look at some of his matches and his work with Bret Hart. Amazing, amazing stuff. These guys paved the way for a lot of tag teams. So
yeah, the young crowd is not going to know anything about it. So do yourself a favor. If you're a younger fan and you didn't grow up during the golden era, do like Des says, go out, WWE Network, or just YouTube the shit out of it. It's some awesome stuff, and you know he should hold a special place in all wrestling fans' hearts. So educate yourself on him. He's friggin' awesome. But let's lighten the mood. How was your week, man?
My week has been chaotic. Work's been nuts. Now that we have the 2 studios that are across the city from me, well, not across the city. I mean, I guess across town.
That's across the city. Yeah.
Well, kind of. It's, you know, it takes about an hour to take the travel, but I had to travel back and forth twice, quite a few times this week. We're in the middle of doing some big, I guess, movements, meetings, and all kinds of shindigs in the gaming world. So it's been exciting, but it's been a bit tiresome. But you know what? I've been enjoying the hype for SummerSlam. I'm really looking forward to heading down to your digs to watch SummerSlam. I'm going to be heading over with my case of beer. I'm going to bring my girl with me, and we're going to have a BBQ for SS.
That's right, man. We're going to have a pool party. And what's cool is I got this special stuff here that came in. And if American listeners aren't aware, October 17th, cannabis is legal in Canada. And actually, I ordered some because I got a prescription for it, because it's that easy to get these days. And maybe we'll indulge in a little bit of Avetical Indica dried marijuana.
That's terrible. I don't do that stuff for shame.
For shame. Oh, I didn't have the damn thing ready. Okay, you want to jump in there? You want to jump into some wrestling talk?
Let us do it before I take those herbs away from you and have my way.
All right, so we had the go-home shows from Raw and Smackdown this week. I always found that Smackdown delivered a better go-home show than Raw, but this week it was a contrary. I'd like to focus more on Raw for this episode, but dude, that Alexa Bliss, Ronda Rousey promo was on fire. I know that I was tweeting you about how good Alexa Bliss was, and you were tweeting me about how good Ronda was. What made it special for you for Ronda? Like, what made a promo so good?
I just thought, she's coming out to the ring by herself this week. We knew Natalya wasn't going to be there. She was scheduled to be in a match this week against Bliss, but out comes Ronda Rousey all by herself. Natalya's not there to support her, so I was a bit concerned whether or not she would be able to cut a solid promo, and she kind of went out there, and it was very heartfelt, talking about Jim the Anvil Neidhart and, a father's role in life and, kind of turning it around on Alexa Bliss and making it a bit aggressive. And I'm not going to sit here and say Ronda Rousey, blew Alexa Bliss out of the water. I'm just saying, in terms of the promos I've seen from Ronda Rousey, she's getting better, and this was a huge improvement. And not just with the promos. You see her outside the ring cheering on Ember Moon during that match, who did make a return this week, which was great to see. It was a good secondary match since we didn't get to see Natalya versus Alexa Bliss. And I don't know. I just kind of like to see. I like what Ronda did this week, but I will not disagree with you. Alexa came down and tore it up on the mic. Usually she kind of delivers a Mean Girls kind of promo. She still kind of did, but it was a bit more aggressive, a little bit out of her usual mold. So I will agree with you. Fantastic way to kick off Raw.
Well, that's what I was getting at, man. Like, I feel like you always talk about how she's like not evolved on the mic, and yeah, she's good, but like, even if she's good, like if her peak, like let's say she's performing at, an A level all the time, you always have to improve, right? So how does she get to the next level? And I think she's starting to evolve on the microphone. She's got, like you said, she dropped the Mean Girls gimmick. She plays off the crowd. I wouldn't say
she dropped it, but
she's still a bitch.
No.
Okay. But she's not being like catty towards. Like, it's not the same as the Nia Jax garbage, is what I mean.
There's more depth to it.
Yeah, and she plays off the crowd, like, incredibly well. And I remember tweeting you saying, who's better on the mic than her?
Not many.
Who's better on the mic than her? Yeah.
Definitely not many women on the roster are better on the mic than her. But I will say that I feel like Charlotte Flair, as a heel, blows every woman on the roster out of the water. Like,
Charlotte's good. I'll give you that. But her delivery is like... She's got like a rhythm to her delivery.
She was cold and callous. She was heartless. I loved it. Maybe it's a lot nicer in my mind than it actually was in reality.
It was good.
But I loved it. And I'm not knocking Alexa Bliss's mic work. She's great. But Charlotte as a heel, I can't wait for the day where that comes back. And it might be sooner than you think, folks.
This is going to be... I mean, I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way. And I get it. And I do think that Ronda, like, was definitely her best mic performance so far. But the content was kind of like, because she was talking about like a sad moment, it was kind of like she didn't have to act. It was real emotion. And I guess that's cool, but I still want to see her promo with a real story. Like, until she could promo with a real story, she's just not there for me yet on the microphone. But actually, no, that's not true, because the week before, when she slammed that mic, it was dope, man.
Almost popped up and hit her right in the head.
Yeah, have you seen the videos they made? Somebody made a video where like
it goes out. It goes into like
you saw that?
Atmosphere. It goes into orbit.
So cool.
Yeah, it's great. I love the wrestling community for their gifts that they come up with. I can't wait for. And you know what? It's funny. We're talking about gifts of wrestling, right? If you guys watch SmackDown this week, we saw Randy Orton do that really creepy side gimmick on the curtain.
So dirty.
What was that about? First of all, like, honestly, what was that about? It was really, really, really strange. She just kind of sidling there. Like, he flew all the way in just for that. You're trying to.
It was rapey.
It was. Yeah. I mean, sorry, I don't want to really go in that direction, but it was very, very creepy, folks. And where was his hand? Was he going for the handshake? Was he going for a handshake?
I know you threw out that tweet, and
nobody got it.
I didn't get it at first.
No,
I didn't get it at first
yeah.
Until you said that tweet should have been gold, and I was like, I didn't get it. And then as soon as I put my phone down, I was like, oh, dick hands.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to go punch somebody, but then he just shakes their hand instead, which is, in my mind,
I think it's bullshit.
Worse.
You think it's bullshit or what?
I don't think so, because I don't know. I think there's some pretty credible people talking about it. I think, who did they ask? They're like, oh yeah. So Freddie Prinze Jr., right? You know, he's a big WWE fan. Well, he actually wrote for them for quite some time, and they asked him, somebody asked, did you shake Randy Orton's hand? And he was like, no way. I don't know if he's joking, trolling, but I don't know. I could definitely see it being true based on a lot of the stories we've heard about Randy Orton in the back. So who knows? Whatever. It is what it is, folks. But yes, if you haven't heard, apparently, I don't know if he still does it, but when you're a new writer, Randy Orton will introduce himself, but pull his junk out, touch his dick, and ask you to shake his hand. And if you don't shake his hand, well, he's like, what? You're trying to slight me? You think you're better than me? You can be disrespectful to me? So you kind of got to shake his hand. And I got to ask you, J-Bomb, if you were a writer for the WWE...
Fuck yeah, I'd shake his hand.
You'd shake his hand?
Fucking right. It's Randy Orton. I don't care. I'd shake his dick.
Well, there you got it. There you have it, folks. There you have it. I was going to say I would shake his hand too, but I wouldn't shake his dick. That's for sure.
That elevated quickly, but if my job depended on it to be working for WWE, I got no shame. Where's Nia Jax been, bro?
Nia Jax. That's interesting. So she's been missing from ever since she kind of lost her title. She's disappeared. Poof. But rumor has it, she's posted a few pictures on Instagram of her rehabbing her leg injury.
Oh, really?
So maybe she's just, a little bit roughed up. She was in the spotlight for, a good month, 2 months, maybe even 3 months. So she's probably just a little bit sore, taking some time off. She's not in the spotlight right now. She'll be back soon enough, I'm sure, especially with Evolution happening in the near future. And
I didn't even notice until this week because when they were showing those amazing, and we'll get to that later, but those amazing promos of Daniel Bryan and The Miz. Shane O'Mac, he's been off the radar too. Do you know what's going on with him?
I just don't think there's really a need for him to be there. I think Paige is doing such a good job that they just want to run with her, basically being the focal point. He's not really a good, commissioner, general manager, whatever you want to call him. He often comes out, stumbles his lines. He sweats. No one sweats like this guy. And I just think at the same time, when he did come back, he just had his hernia surgery at the same time. I don't think he had healed completely. So I think he just taken some time off, resting up, making sure he's in good health. And when there's a need for him to be there, he'll be there.
You think he's going to be at SummerSlam?
Maybe. I think he should be at SummerSlam. I don't know if he will be. Maybe he'll pop up backstage, but I just feel like they're good with Paige as is. They don't really need him to be there, so they don't need him to be there.
I'm excited for SummerSlam, and I was listening to Speeds and Benchmark earlier this week. They had Dr. Hugenstein on there, and they were discussing how SummerSlam doesn't have really a major match. They don't have an Undertaker versus Cena, and they were kind of going back and forth with whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. I think it's a great thing. I think it's really showing that there's I know it's just SummerSlam and it's not WrestleMania, but let the rest of the guys have their moments. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that are missing from SummerSlam. We got no Stephanie McMahon, no Triple H, no Shane McMahon. Brie Bella hasn't been involved. John Cena hasn't been involved, and Undertaker hasn't been involved. And I think did I say Brie? I meant Nikki. And that's a big change from the culture that has been going on the last few years.
No, absolutely. I know there was heavy rumors that there was going to be a rematch between The Undertaker and John Cena. I'm glad that didn't happen. I'm glad that the others kind of get showcased a little bit better this way. I still think there's some amazing marquee matches in there, but not having Triple H, not having John Cena in there, I'm okay with it. I can live.
I love it. In fact, I love it. And that's what's going to bring me to my next point is that, guys like Tyler Breeze, me and you are huge fans. I don't know if we're a little bit biased because he's Canadian. I know you gave him a hard time when he was in NXT. Remember you always being like, oh, fuck, this gimmick is overdone. He's not Shawn Michaels.
I just don't like the frilly boots.
You have a thing against frilly boots, even when Daniel
Ultimate Warrior did it and nobody else can. That's all, that's all I can say.
Berserker did it. Do you remember the Berserker?
Not a little bit. I mean, right now I have my Ultimate Warrior figure right beside me. Really high quality, really nice. He's got the frills on his legs. It's beautiful. And I like Tyler Breeze a lot. I think he's talented. I think he's super underrated. I think he should be in NXT tearing it up. He should be doing that right now. I've talked about that before in the past. He should be lost without a Fandango. He should be going around like a puppy, trying to find his way. He tried to get him with the Shield. Or with Rollins. I like that. But, have him banished or have him go down to NXT. He does appear on house shows sometimes in NXT and wrestles matches, and fans love it. Send him down there, have him have some great matches, and then maybe at some point have him in a program, and then Fandango comes back. They do a little bit of tag team run. It'll be more exposure that they're getting right now. So,
Sorry, not to cut you off. Do you think he has, you keep mentioning NXT, do you think he's just like an NXT lifer? Do you think there's any chance that he could be redeemed? Does he have a main roster future?
I think he could. It depends. There's lots of people on the card. That's the problem. And when you get stuck in a tag team, it also can become a problem because you're a tag team wrestler, unless that's who you're destined to be. So if he wants to be a tag team wrestler, then they got to push the hell out of Breezango. They're over. I think they can do it. Hopefully, I'm hoping that this injury to Fandango is a blessing in disguise, and when he does come back, they give him a solid push for the tag titles. It seems like maybe that could happen. It tends to happen when people come back from injury.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I don't know, let him have a decent singles feud. It's just going to be really tough because if you're spending all your time pushing Mojo Rawley, when is Tyler Breeze going to get in the picture?
Well, that's it. I think he deserves it more than Mojo, just because of, his success in NXT versus Mojo's. I don't think Mojo was ever really over in NXT.
I don't think he's over. I don't think he's going to get over. I don't think it's ever going to happen for Mojo Rawley. I know he puts in the work, and I just don't buy into him. And I think I would buy into Tyler Breeze any day of the week. And maybe a little updates to his gimmicks. Maybe, I'm not sure. Maybe he needs some fine tuning. Yeah, he did get a match with Baron Corbin this week. He looked really good in the match, and some might say, hey, he's fighting the Constable. And it was good exposure for him. But I hope they just don't bury him or forget about him until Fandango gets back, because it's going to be quite some time.
What if Tyler Breeze cut a deal with B-Team and the three of them? Because I feel like if the three of them got together, with the comedic relief, because Tyler Breeze is got great natural comedic timing. If he kind of squeezed his way in the B-Team, even if he was just with them, I feel like he could be launched from that platform after.
And what do we call them? The B+ team?
I don't know. Just make them I don't know. I always think, I don't know what they would call him.
I would think B+.
B+.
Right, because they're adding...
Be Pretty or some shit like that. Who knows?
They're adding Breeze to it, so B+. But I don't think ultimately it would be a good fit, in my opinion, in my honest opinion. I don't really know what would be the greatest, feud or angle or repackaging for him, but I do want to see them do something with him. I think he's a lot better than he's getting. And I know a lot of time people talk on social media and Twitter that, feeling sorry for him, but I don't know. I just think he deserves a little bit better.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. So that was my final question. Does he deserve more than he's getting? And you answered it, so let's move on. The Deleters of World, or the Deleters of Worlds? I don't even know. It's going nowhere. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? Guys like Matt Hardy, does he need to repackage? Because, this broken thing had so much energy coming in, and then it took a huge fall, and then it peaked back up when they did their... Ultimate Deletion. I thought that was pretty entertaining, but to me, it's completely dried up. Bray Wyatt at this point, to me, needs a repackage.
They failed completely when it comes to this tag team. They could have done so much with them. They could have had weekly promos. They could have had stuff at the Hardy compound. They could have a tag team match on every pay-per-view at the Hardy compound. I mean, they could have been doing all kinds of different things. I'm not going to sit here and say how they should have done things, but I know they didn't do it right. These guys just didn't have anything going. They came out and did tag team matches, even when they were the champions. It just didn't work. And we saw this week, the B team defended their titles against the Revival and the Deleter of Worlds. And Wyatt ate another pin. He's been eating them a lot. And I don't know if he's in trouble or what they're trying to do. But I will give you insight. The fact that Bray Wyatt did tweet this week that he's looking at basically putting something together, and he's looking for a band to do it. I thought at first it might be for a podcast, because he's basically talking about his unfiltered thoughts. And I was like, okay, well, he's obviously going to maybe do a podcast, but maybe he's recording a new intro. And I think that's kind of what people were hinting at. So I think a lot of people would be upset because his intro is pretty, unique. But
I don't like it anymore.
We'll see what happens, but I think it's safe to say that the Leader of Worlds, we're looking at SummerSlam. It's going to be the B team versus the Revival. I think when Wyatt ate the pin, I think that the Leader of Worlds officially took themselves out of the picture. The Revival didn't even pick up a win, and they're in the title. They're earning a title shot. And I know that Matt Hardy's also been tweeting and putting on Instagrams a lot of photos of thanking Bray Wyatt for being his partner, and also hints of him taking a break or hiatus or retirement. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I think the Leader of Worlds might have been a failed experiment, and I wouldn't be surprised if they are going on hiatus, or we may see the end of them sooner rather than later.
I don't know. I feel like if Matt is going to end it, I could see him taking a long break, maybe going into some surgery. He's got to have hip issues, I'm assuming, because he walks like he's 60. But if he is going to take a break, why not have him and Jeff? If Jeff's going to stick around, especially, they should have made him he should have gone into the the river behind his house, whatever the hell that thing's called. They should have just done more with it. They're just going to end the story with him not being around for a while. And it's a shame to see something that we were all so excited to see just fall so flat.
Yeah, but are you surprised? I'm sure McMahon, that was his plan to begin with. It's you were successful as Broken Hardy, but in here I'm controlling you. And he did.
I don't know.
He never even became woken. He was always broken. Even when they got the rights to it, he still stayed broken or woken.
Woken, so. Yeah, but the thing is that Vince loves fucking money, dude. So, I don't see why he wouldn't want to,
Yeah, but he likes things that he creates.
So So give him a fucking 30-minute episode a week on the WWE Network.
Yeah.
That would have been dope.
Hey, maybe they still can. Maybe they still can. Could be interesting. And I think also the reason why Jeff Hardy didn't end up going with Matt is because, well, the injury, first of all, that Jeff suffered. And I think they see a little bit more in Jeff as being a singles competitor. So who knows? I'm sure they'll have a reunion. At least I would hope the things so before both of them call it quits. But is what it is. The woken Matt Hardy definitely didn't pan out the way we all wished it had.
It sucks, man. It really does, because, I don't know, there was just so much momentum at one point. We got to move on, though. Jinder Mahal, dude, we got to talk about Jinder Mahal real quick, because I noticed...
Really?
Yeah, we do. We absolutely do. Because I don't think anybody's noticed, but, like, Jinder Mahal used to stick out like a sore thumb whenever he was involved in, like, larger storylines than, I don't know, pre-card and stuff like that. He was involved in the segment on Raw this week with KO, with Braun Strowman. Who else was in there? There was somebody else. There was a fourth guy in there. Who was Jinder's partner? You remember?
Jinder's partner?
Yeah.
Well, wasn't it Jinder and KO versus Balor and Strowman?
Okay, that's it. Balor. I'm looking. Yeah, I couldn't remember. Dude, I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I know Jinder wasn't the reason why I enjoyed it, but the fact that Jinder was there and it wasn't like, what the fuck is Jinder doing there? That's what I'm trying to get at. Is Jinder is like really subtly put himself into like some of the top tier guys on the Raw roster, and he's not looking out of place anymore. He's way better on the mic. His promos are way better. He's a little bit goofier. He's dropped that whole like oppressed immigrant gimmick.
Respect,
and now he's
respect, give me your respect.
Yeah, the garbage. And he's just embraced this like fucking chill attitude. And honestly, mark my words, man, he's going to be extremely fucking over. If he does a face turn, he's going to be extremely fucking over.
Possible. I will agree. He's definitely been making himself relevant, I guess, these weeks. He's no longer in Jinder Mahal way. And yeah, I think he's actually appealing. He's more appealing to me now than when he was champion. He had that really dark, kind of rough heel 101 respect, and now he's a bit more showing a bit more dimension to his character. He can be a bit more silly, and he's a hard worker. I can respect that. So yeah, absolutely, he's been able to keep himself relevant, and he's starting to be, I guess, believable as one of the, I guess, main event mid-carder to main event players. He hasn't 100% crossed over that line in my mind.
He's between the two, yeah.
He's between the two, starting to lean towards main event, but I'm still not a huge Jinder Mahal fan. He's Canadian, awesome, but whatever. That's not going to buy you over in my books necessarily. So still a bit of work to be done, but he's making the right moves. And I'm wondering at what point the other little Singh brother is going to make an appearance or come back, because he's been cleared. So I'm just wondering.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to help their cause, but like what I'm getting at is that me and you used to hate Jinder Mahal. I mean, no, there was a moment where I liked him.
I just hated the experiment. I just thought it was stupid. They're trying to make like a big footprint in India, so they're like, okay, well, let's change everything and give him the belt and just to make some money. And that's what I didn't like. So.
But like we didn't like him because we literally we booed him because we didn't want to see him. Now we boo him because it's fun to boo him, right?
Yeah, I still wouldn't want him to have the title back on him, at least not now.
No, God no. He doesn't need a title though. That's what's cool about him now. He doesn't need a title. He just needs a really good, funny promo in the back, Jinder Mahal way, the odd time where he's in a tag team match and it works perfectly for him. But it's just nice to see that he's kind of been accepted into that circle. Like he's made his way into that class because. Like you mentioned, he's not pure main event. He's upper middle card. I mean, on Raw, who's main event other than Brock Lesnar and Roman anyways? I guess you could throw Seth in there.
Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Finn Balor.
Okay, so Finn Balor. Oh, Finn Balor.
Well, I still consider him main event, but they're just not putting him in that main event.
Okay, so let's say Braun Strowman, yeah. KO, yeah. Finn Balor, yeah. Well, fuck. He was in the segment with all three of those guys. And that's
absolutely.
Really impressive.
I think it's great. They must trust him a lot, and they must be a little bit high on him to be able to put him there. Someone can make the argument, well, look, they have to find a place to put him, so KO needs a tag team partner, put him in there, and they're a good heel duo too. They kind of work well off each other. So it's okay for now. We'll see where this goes.
Did you see the WWE exclusive with KO in the car underneath the towel?
No.
Oh, you didn't see that? Okay, so he's hiding from Braun Strowman in the parking lot. And I don't know, one of the dudes is trying to interview him, and he's freaking out. He's like, "Get the camera out of here! I'm not hiding, though. I'm not hiding, but get the camera out of here." And it would have been cooler if Jinder Mahal was like in the front seat, like helping him calm down. What's his saying? I don't even remember what it is, but he tells him like, breathe deeply. Was it got Thai or Chai or some shit? Shanti. How do you always remember all this shit?
I remember weird stuff, just like I notice weird things like the color of a woman's eyes. Chris Rocker. Love you, buddy.
Dude, that's gonna linger so long. I fucking love it.
It's awesome. I love it too. But her eyes look like Sub-Zero. I keep on. It's not like I'm like, oh, look at the color of her shoes. Look at the, like I was like, dude, her eyes look. That's weird. It was weird. I don't know. I'm weird.
It's so funny. I'm watching. I guess SmackDown, and as soon as Lana came on the screen, my wife's like, "Oh my god, I love her eyes," and I was just like,
I guess Chris was onto something.
Well, it's not like you said you loved him. You just said like, "Fuck, I noticed though."
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's all good, man. It's all good.
Okay, Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman. I loved it. I think this build for Brock Lesnar versus Roman is finally the one we all have been.
It's going to be a grueling match too.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing. You're going to have a cash in, no doubt. I'm very, very almost positive about that, and that's because these guys. Well, not just because, but it's going to be more believable because they're going to beat the holy tar out of themselves. Whoever wins this match is barely going to be able to stand up afterwards.
See, what's cool is that like the promo was sweet, and it made me start to think like, oh my god, shit, are they really going to like have Roman turn heel? I thought like they'll do this. He'll put his handshake out. He'll give him that letter. Roman won't answer. Paul Heyman's going to leave. Everything is going to be quiet. And then we hit SummerSlam. So then in the back of the mind, at any point during the match, if Roman's about to lose, he can kind of give, Paul Heyman a signal or something like that. And there would be a heel turn, which would be awesome. I feel like the pepper spray and Brock Lesnar coming out, it took away from that mystique that, may have been there.
Yeah, that was a lot of quote unquote pepper spray. Like that really, that was like a so gallon came out of there. And folks, if any of you have ever been sprayed by pepper spray, water in the eyes is not the best way to get rid of it. Well, it's not a bad way, but you can't make it a lot worse.
Mike, you're killing kayfabe, bro.
Killing kayfabe? Oh,
and sorry. I just killed it by calling you Mike. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Wah, wah, wah.
Wah, wah. But, yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that, too. Because Brock Lesnar, right? He's kind of a bit picky in terms of his booking. So I could see the only way him accepting to lose would be by Paul Heyman cheating him out of it or something to that nature. So I could have seen that coming. I think I would have been excited to see Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns, but I don't really see it happening in any capacity. I definitely see Heyman working with somebody else. I just don't see it being Roman Reigns.
It should be Roman Reigns, though. He's the perfect candidate, in my opinion, because his mic skills are shit.
They're not that bad.
Oh, they're bad, man.
They're not that bad. They're not the worst. They're not that bad. I don't think his mic skills aren't that bad. I don't think his mic skills are that terrible. I'm not even.
Has he ever given you goosebumps?
No, I'm not. I mean, when he gave his first, calling Brock out and breaking the quote unquote fourth wall or whatever it is.
One time. Yeah,
the first time it was cool. It didn't give me goosebumps, but it was cool. And I'm not a Roman Reigns fan really by any means. I realize it's every effing week, but guy should change his theme music. I think it would do wonders for him. I know I keep saying this, but
you know what he should change his theme music to, right? I still can't get over. I don't think so. I think Roman's over, but anyways.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think Roman's the guy that Paul Heyman should be with next. That's all.
Okay, so then here's another question. There's so many things that can happen. Like Braun Strowman can cash in, KO can cash in, Paul Heyman can turn on Brock, or quote unquote turn on Brock, but then really be fucking Roman over. And there's just so many things that can happen from this. If it's Braun Strowman, Kevin Owens, Brock Lesnar, or God, I'm running out of names here, or Roman Reigns, who would best fit out of those four with Paul Heyman?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think any of them. I think it's going to be someone new or someone more surprising. I mean, I would have liked them to have done Cesaro, but obviously that didn't turn out when Brock came back. Who knows? Maybe Ronda Rousey could be a good fit too. Turn her heel after she wins a title.
No, I can't. Just because of the UFC shit, I don't want her to be in it. And hasn't.
But her mic skills aren't fantastic, right? So turn her heel after she wins the title. She gets a big head. She starts feuding with Natty because Natty's upset that she doesn't give her the respect. She does kind of like, look, I helped you prepare you for this, and she's like, oh, I didn't need you. Like, they could take a heel turn. I know I'm not. I know it doesn't make really entire sense where I'm kind of coming from on this, but like, I don't know. Who else could Paul Heyman realistically go with at this point?
I feel like it's got to be one of those four, because if he went with Ronda, I think a lot of like the female fans would be pretty upset that they put another man in there.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Fair enough.
So let's scratch that from it. KO, there's no way he needs it. He's one of the greatest talkers. Braun Strowman to me is a great talker. Yeah,
but so was CM Punk. CM Punk was a great talker and he was with Paul Heyman.
Yeah, but did Paul Heyman at that point do all the talking for CM Punk?
No.
Different dynamic back then?
Different dynamic back then, yeah. It depends who he's working with.
I just feel like, for a storyline perspective, if Roman Reigns, here, put it this way, if Roman Reigns walks out of SummerSlam as the champion and there's no cash-in, or there's an unsuccessful cash-in, I'll put my money on Paul Heyman being the new rep for Roman Reigns, and I think we'll see the heel turn. I'll say it now.
Interesting.
I'm probably wrong.
Well, I'm so convinced that there is going to be a cash-in that if there isn't, maybe you'll be right.
No. Cool. I'll take you. No, you're taking me to dinner when Bliss wins. But anyways,
do you guys believe that this guy thinks Alexa Bliss is going to retain her title? What a mook.
I'm almost positive.
What a mook.
We'll get there. Okay, so we got to talk about Dolph Ziggler. His promo with Seth Rollins. Well, his 100 promos backstage with Kurt Angle was so cringeworthy. Were they as better or worse than his horrible straight hair?
Oh, the hair was
Chris
brutal.
Rucker, get on me for it. But yeah, I noticed Dolph Ziggler's stupid hair.
See, he notices a man. I notice a woman. So he's already...
Dolph Ziggler's a good-looking man. So.
Yeah, he's a good-looking dude. I don't know. I feel like he's trying to really be the Shawn Michaels of this duo. He's trying to look different, pull out these different looks every week. It is what it is. I can get over the hair. But you know what is so funny? Because the Raw Go-Home show for me was actually really good. If you dissect every single segment, they were each pretty good. Yeah. I didn't like this. And this is my probably least favorite segment, outside of Ambrose returning at the end, which we will get to, folks. I thought this segment just did not do it for me. And it's sad because this whole Ziggler-Rollins feud was my favorite part of Raw for weeks. I don't know. I just thought it'd be really cheesy. So, where's Rollins? He's not coming in? Well, he's going to forfeit? Oh, well, the contract. Oh, well. And like... I don't know. It was just really cheesy. I don't think they needed to do this the way they did it. I think they could have Seth Rollins could have been there. They could have just announced the contract signing for the main event, and then they all could have came out going over the rules, and Ziggler could have been like, oh, well, what's this rule? Oh, well, what's that rule? Oh, wait a second, what? Rollins gets to have somebody but like what? And that would have
I know.
They told us it was going to happen before it happened. Maybe an attempt for people to tell their friends and tune in and stuff. Maybe to get more viewers.
That's for sure what it was, and that's a shame that they do that.
Because I know they rumored about it, like they've been teasing it, but they just pretty much gave it away. And I think it could have been really cool if they finally at the end of the show met up in the ring. I will say McIntyre gave a really good promo. I thought his promo was really solid. I felt that Ziggler tried to follow up and didn't succeed. It was very passionate. I think people will probably disagree with me and be like, no, it was pretty good. I don't know. I don't think it was that good. It wasn't one of his best promos. He was grasping at straws to a certain point.
It was just all about respect, like every other freaking heel promo. Was horrible.
It wasn't a great promo for me outside of the intensity of it. I'll give the intensity respect. But right. I just feel like they could have just went down, did their promos with each other, start signing the contract, and then Ziggler kind of notices something in the contract, and that's where it gets called out, and then Ambrose comes out. Like, that could have been it, and it would have been amazing. We knew it was going to happen, and it's fine. But for me, I like the out-of-nowhere surprises. So that's a little bit of my salty des on that this week.
Okay, so before we go and talk about what we did like about it, because there was a lot of positives from the return of Dean Ambrose, I'm 100% on board with you. They didn't deliver it well. I'm not surprised. I think it should have been kept for SummerSlam, and here's why. I think that the turn on, we know Dean Ambrose is turning heel, right? It's inevitable. The turn should have been right away on Seth. The music could have hit, or, Seth could have been getting beaten down. Dean Ambrose rolls in. You think he's going to attack Dolph and Drew, and then just turns around and attacks frickin' Seth. Whether he joins up with Dolph Ziggler is a whole other thing. But like, even the fact that they already did the Iron Man match, they could have kept the Iron Man match for SummerSlam. It could have been right down to the end, and Dean Ambrose could have came in and cost Seth the match, or something along the lines of that. Like, they could have made it a no DQ Iron Man match, so he could have came in and just hit him with a chair. But I just feel like this has to be a quick heel turn, because Dean Ambrose looked awesome. He looked freaking amazing in his return. Like, as soon as his music hit, everything before it, if that wasn't there, everything past him coming out was just freaking flawless, I thought.
Yeah, I think when he did come out, I forgot about the whole way that they kind of put that together, and I was excited to see Ambrose again. He cut his hair, and it actually looks good, and I think he looks like he just came from prison. So he's ready for a heel turn, and I think you nailed it when you said it has to happen quick. I'm not gonna be upset about the way that things rolled out. I think it actually works out better this way. It's gonna make people tune into SummerSlam. I like the Iron match for what it was. This is a long storyline. It's coming to an end. It's gonna transition now to a storyline between Rollins and Ambrose, and it's something that's personal between the two of them. If you remember, folks, when Seth Rollins did a suicide dive out of the ring and he landed on Dean Ambrose's arm, that's what quote unquote caused the injury, which it really didn't. But the fact that they went to that length to make that part of the storyline, Seth Rollins inadvertently causing him to injure his arm, well, he can make basically a big tripe out of that and say, hey, you cost me a large part of my career. I was out for months. I missed WrestleMania. And Rollins also had commented on an interview in the past week saying that Ambrose's injury was the best thing that happened to his career. So I don't know if
that was a work.
It very well could have been planting the seeds, folks. So I do feel like it's going to be a heel turn. I think he'll help Ambrose win the IC title, but then he will quickly turn on him. Very similar to what we saw when Rollins turned on the Shield.
It needs to happen in SummerSlam, is what I'm saying. Like,
I agree.
I would rather it did happen in SummerSlam, like his return. But if they're going to put his return on Raw, he has to help him win and then turn on him. But yeah, dude, when he came out, he did look like he was right out of prison. Like, the jogging pants were perfect. Like, they just suited him perfect. The only negative thing that I could say is that it reminded me so much of, like, Tommaso Ciampa. Just the way his demeanor was when he came out.
He looked deranged, basically.
He looked deranged and just, like, such a heel, man. Like, his haircut's perfect. His shirt's perfect. I love the new look. It's similar to Seth Rollins, too. And you notice that? Like, the D with the A, it's similar to Seth Rollins.
Right. But he kind of always had that logo.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But, dude, like, you could see the adrenaline and the passion after he attacked the guys in the ring. And he was just kind of, like, shooting his shoulder and popping his chin and sticking his tongue out. And the beard is helpful. He just looks like... He finally looks like the lunatic fringe and not just, like, some fucking dirty dude who kind of works out a bit.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, this is going to be a really crucial part for him to kind of show what he's got. I guess he's kind of somewhat reinventing himself. So, I don't know. I'm excited, and I do agree it's got to be a fast heel turn. And if it doesn't happen at SummerSlam, which it should, I guarantee it's going to happen the next night on Raw.
Yeah, because Raw after SummerSlam is probably usually pretty big, right? There's, like, call-ups and stuff. It's kind of like a mini WrestleMania thing.
Somewhat. I mean, people keep saying there's tons of call-ups during after SummerSlam, but I mean, I can't. I'm trying to scratch my head, and I
don't remember them.
It doesn't stand out as being a notable time where they do call-ups, but it's very possible they might.
All right, let's jump over to SmackDown Live, because there was some. We were so excited about Raw. Great go-home show. First time in a while the go-home show was that good for me, especially on Raw. SmackDown Live, I didn't have the same feel about it, though. Like, the women kicking it off was cool, but then, like, they didn't really drive the storyline.
They damaged it, if anything.
They damaged it, right? Yeah.
And not just damaging the storyline, they damaged the women's division. Having Carmella going out there, they go back to calling her a diva. I get it. I get the insult. It was cool. I was like, ooh, burn. but then they start talking about looks and shaming each other. Like, I don't know. I was reading social media, and a lot of the women who were fans of wrestling were not fans of this. It was not good at all. Not good at all for the division. So I wasn't too happy about that. Then they turned into a tag team match against Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, which we hadn't seen in a couple weeks, so it was refreshing to see them. I think Mandy Rose might have had some rust. I know I gave her a bit of a compliment a couple weeks back, but man, she needs to work more snug in the ring. She was actually pretty lost out there when she's getting her head slammed in the corner. It was very soft. Her punches looked really weak. She's going to get there, but I just felt like she took 2 steps back. But that goes to show you that when you don't use these women, and they're sitting in the back, well, they get a little bit rusty, I guess.
Yeah, but they're doing house shows and shit like that. But maybe it's that when they're not on TV, it's got to be nerves. That's how I look at it.
Maybe it is. But I was a bit confused of why Carmella wasn't involved in this wrestling match, why she was involved in a tag match. Maybe have her tag with Asuka, and it'll be a weird tag combination. And then that way,
to get Asuka in there.
Well, I'm just salty. Des is salty that Asuka's not in SummerSlam. Surprise, surprise.
I hear about the rumors of her wanting to leave.
Well, that was fake rumors. Somebody went out there and just threw that out there that she's frustrated.
News.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even see her going and having a conversation with the officials, and she doesn't speak English. So, well, come on. And I think she's humbled and she's happy to be there. She seems like a good soul. So I would be frustrated if I was her, and I'm frustrated as a fan. She should be on the card, but whatever. It is what it is. I'm trying to cope with this. But I think Carmella should have been involved in the match some way or the other, have a wrestle instead of being on commentary or being at the commentary table. And then, I get having those 2 women having their turn and, giving them exposure. So cool. I get that. That's fine. I would have really liked, if not a tag team match, however, I would have been really down to see a match between Charlotte and Becky going into SummerSlam. I think that would have been a treat to watch. People are saying, well, that's the long game. They're going to be wrestling at a pay-per-view. Well, we're going to see Becky versus Charlotte 100 more times before their career's over. So let's see it on SmackDown going into SummerSlam. I think it would have been awesome.
See, I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of when I know it's a triple threat, so it's different. But even the 2 of them going at it, because I feel like they're going to, I'm just thinking about the psychology of the triple threat match. They're obviously going to beat the shit out of Carmella for a while until they finally decide to take the first punch at one another. So I think that they kind of want to keep
breaking a pin or something. Why did you break? Like, why would I always think that's so silly. They do 3-way matches and they help each other out, and then the other person breaks the pin. It's like, well, was I supposed to let you win the title? I mean, I don't know.
Seriously, bitch. No, but I get it. It would have been sweet to see, but I don't know if the timing was right. That's just me. But SmackDown didn't do itself any favors by disrespecting the women's division like that, and then immediately in segment 2 having the SmackDown Tag Team Champions fight 3 friggin' bozos.
Oh my God, it's ridiculous. I get that they're trying to make the Bludgeon Brothers look strong, but we've gotten week after week after week of jobbers, and let's see something else. Let's see them fight a credible tag team. There's plenty of superstars in the back waiting for action. So they could have done something with this. And instead, you have the number 1 contenders in New Day taking on Sanity. So if they had solid tag team opponents, why couldn't the Bludgeon Brothers? It's really frustrating. I just, free Harper, folks. # free Harper. This guy, get him out. He's doomed because of Eric Rowan. And I don't know. I just don't like the program that we've been seeing the Bludgeon Brothers go through. They were really high in them at first. They fought the Usos, and it's like, oh, they're actually a force to reckon with. They surprised me. And now it's just jobbers week after week after week. Now, I will say I did like the New Day versus Sanity. I thought Kofi coming out with the birthday boy sign was awesome.
Yeah, that was cool.
But I really think it would have been super, super cool if before he did his backward suicide jump, he put the sign on. And he's like, birthday boy, wee! I think that would have been really
The end
cool.
of that match had so much energy, and it almost made me change my pick to think, whoa, fuck, maybe the New Day is going to go into SummerSlam and upset Bludgeon Brothers, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to wait and see, folks. This Sunday at SummerSlam. Follow us with Talkamania. We'll be covering it live.
Periscope, baby. Okay, so we got to talk about The Miz and Daniel Bryan. Those segments were freaking awesome.
Especially Best part of SmackDown. Loved it. Yeah, they were great. And I just wanted them to go on and on and on. They dig deep when they were young, where they started. They made it look like they really had a rivalry that far back.
That's what it was cool for me, because I missed, I had no idea that NXT used to just be a show like that. I had no idea that Miz was Daniel Bryan's pro. I had no idea that it went all the way back there. God, fuck, Daniel Bryan looked like a 14-year-old boy.
Oh, it's funny. You look at him there, and you look at him now. Now he looks like an old goat.
Maybe all those vegan hot dogs, you know?
But the promos were great. I'm definitely a lot more excited for this match. And I love it. I love the production that the WWE puts into their promos.
Well, that's what I was going to get at. I mean, these pre-recorded promos to me are the perfect fit for a go-home show. But on top of that, I'd like to see more pre-recorded promos going forward all the time. Like, WWE superstars, they're not all like, triple threat talents. We got The Rock who's a triple threat. John Cena seems to be a triple threat. The Miz is a triple threat. But not everybody is. Not everybody's a great actor and a great athlete. So let them have, multiple takes. Why the fuck not, man?
Yeah, at least they stopped doing those backstage PowerPoint presentation promos where they put words across the screen. Thank God. That didn't last very long.
They're still doing the selfie stuff. But it's only The Miz, eh? The Miz is like the only one who's doing it.
No, I think you see, I think Lana's done a couple of them.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. But Lana's pretty good. She's got
getting
an acting
there.
background.
She's getting there. It's funny. Like, somebody posted this tweet. It was hilarious, and it totally was underrated. It should have got a lot more traction. And it was Lana whenever she cuts a promo, and it's Ross from Friends, that episode where he has the accent, and he tries to phase it out. I love it. So yeah, she talks with the accent and doesn't talk with the accent. And just drop it already, or go back to. I liked her with it, but whatever.
But when she had it, we were both like, drop the accent, and then she dropped it, and we were like, oh no, back.
Because she sounded more like Rusev, like more.
Yeah,
it was more powerful, and now it's just kind of like, I'm down to earth.
Yeah,
I'm CJ.
CJ. Yeah. But here's the thing, and that's the thing, because let's talk about Aiden English, Rusev, that whole angle. At first I thought, if they're going to break up Rusev Day, then Aiden English is the only one losing here. But then when Rusev and Lana came out on SmackDown this week, it didn't work for me.
It was so rushed, though. It was like, okay, quickly just go out there, say your thing, and set up the match. I mean, they're on the pre-card, so I guess for a pre-card match, it's a pre-card promo.
I mean, like, when they tried to sing Rusev Day, it didn't work. And Aiden doing it in the ring alone didn't work. It's like one of those things where it only works together.
Maybe they're going to realize it, and maybe that's what they're playing on. Who knows? I mean, after SmackDown went off the air, they had this backstage segment that they put on WWE.com where Aiden's kind of walking backstage, and he tells the camera, he's like, I know you're going to ask me. I don't know. I don't know what happened out there. All I could say is I tried. And he hinted to say, we'll see what happens at SummerSlam. So don't know what's going to happen. I hope that the three just stick together. I think they're a good trio. I mean, I just hope after this, if they do break up, that Aiden just doesn't get forgotten about, because, the guy's a lot more talented and he's a little bit underrated. But I like Rusev Day. So I hope this isn't the end of Rusev Day. And I hope even if they do split with Aiden, that Rusev Day continues.
No, see, I know it can.
I don't think it will. I just love Rusev Day so much, and I feel like they're inevitably on the track of splitting them up. So I just hope that that's not the end of Rusev Day.
I'm hoping they pull a audible at the pre-card, and Aiden comes down and causes them to win, and the riff is put behind them, and they can just have Rusev in singles storylines and Lana in the women's division storylines, and Aiden just representing both of them, because Aiden was good whether he was coming out with Lana or Rusev or both of them.
I agree with you, but I feel like they're going to be feuding with Almas and Vega a bit more, so maybe he would need a third Almas to even out the odds. I would say Sin Cara, but he's injured again, folks.
What was he injured,
I don't know. Something else. He sneezed and broke a rib. I don't know.
Man, that guy's a bitch, eh?
Well, first of all, the original Sin Cara was injury prone, and now the new Sin Cara is injury prone. So it just seems like that mask. I don't know, folks.
I was going to say that mask.
Yeah.
All right. This brings us to AJ Styles and Samoa Joe. I know I've been complaining about the
such
promos.
A lackluster build-up for this program.
But I loved this week, dude.
I didn't even know SmackDown ended, and I was like, it ended? Like, I went to a commercial, and I was like waiting for it to come back, and then like Sports Center started, and I'm like, that was it? He just said, from your wife, and then that was it? I knew it was from his wife the whole time he was reading it already. I can piece that together on my own.
I had a feeling it was, I mean, like, okay, and I got a few things to ask you about this, but I loved it because I'd been complaining that they weren't getting personal enough. So this kind of like, created a little bit more of a compelling backstory, having a letter from his wife. I was hoping it was from like
a mistress,
a road rat. Yeah, I was really hoping it was from a mistress. But then I started thinking like, shit, okay, so they're willing to do this. It's PG era. Let's talk about this for a second. But to me, storylines would benefit way more if they had personal backstories like these. But because we're working in a PG era, what could work? Could adultery work? Could abuse work?
I think adultery could have worked if it wasn't real in the end. It was like, this is from your mistress. And then in the end, it was like, never was true. And then it's like, okay, well, there was no adultery. So I think they could get away with it that way. Okay,
I thought you were talking about like, Sunny Days.
No, not Sunny Days. We're old folks. Google it.
Yeah, we're old. But I really loved it, man. Like, I feel like I wasn't invested until the dying seconds of SmackDown. So it hooked me.
I didn't even know it happened, the dying seconds. SmackDown just ended. It was a very surprising ending for me. I just feel like these guys, they haven't had any physicality. They had, like, I guess, really too much. They've had a little bit, but it's just kind of been one week someone's there for a promo, the next week the other one's there. They have a little bit of a scuffle. Like, I don't know. The only cool thing was after the SmackDown went off the air, AJ tried to attack Joe, and the club came out and held him back, and there was a reuniting of the club for briefly.
Ooh,
that was kind of cool. But I don't know. It's not terrible, and I guess this feud is going to go the distance. So I think there'll be more build-up, which is great. I guess they're not rushing things. I just felt like with the history these guys have, and in general, the history they have outside the WWE as well, fans aren't stupid. They know about it. They would have done a little bit better of a build-up. But at the same time, I think these guys are going to basically show their work in the ring this Sunday. I think it'll still be a really good match. So we'll see. I just think SmackDown in general didn't really do it for me as a go-home show.
Yeah, no, it didn't have the go-home show feel, especially after like how good Raw was. The Daniel Bryan Miz thing made up for it slightly.
Yeah, that was great.
And for me, the ending with Samoa Joe and AJ Styles hooked me. But, we're both similar types of fans, and you didn't enjoy it at all, so we can't give it a home run at all. Before we get into our predictions, though, something happened on Twitter today that we have to talk about. Dave Meltzer, and I'll take every opportunity to shit talk Dave Meltzer, even though I kind of like him. But he threw I guess it was during his podcast for Wrestling Observer, but he made some comments about, who was it, Peyton Royce?
Peyton Royce, yeah.
Peyton Royce. About her weight, or I think you said that he was alluding to her breast implants or something like that.
No, I don't think he was alluding to his breast implant. He made a really stupid comment. They were talking about NXT talent and how when they were brought up to the main roster, they just don't have the same appeal. And he was talking about, she did a lot of stuff to make herself, I guess, pretty now, had the breast implants. And he was saying that he didn't find her appealing. And he started saying something. Brian Alvarez cut him off, and he should have ended it there. But he then ended up following up and basically saying, oh, yeah, she was a lot lighter back then as well, too. So I thought that was a really tasteless comment, taking a knock basically at her weight, saying she gained a bit of weight, although she's good looking and she's thin. So, I mean, I don't think it was really tasteful. I think he was kind of stupid to say it. I think he realizes it as well, too. But, damage is done. He's an idiot. He shouldn't have said it. Hopefully he learns his lesson. He definitely isn't always the sharpest tool. I like him for his insight. He kind of gives me gossip and news before it happens. That's about it,
That was some good gossip.
Yeah, that's about it, folks. So again, it's not cool at all. And then again, you have a lot of the internet folk liking to jump on their soapboxes right away and judge him for whatever, and they have the right to do so. But I try to stay out of it because I don't know. Now people are attacking him. Like, look at him; he's ugly and he's bald. And he looks like a piece of shit. But it's like, dude, like you're not any better by just ignore him and let him be and put him in his place.
That's not everybody. But I mean. Okay, I know it's a sensitive subject, and
he's wrong, by the way, folks. I'm not condoning this.
Yeah, okay. I know. I think our listeners would know that, but like it is a sensitive subject, and I'm not one to really feel too empathetic towards all these victimized people, whether it be about race or body size or male or female or this privilege or that privilege. So all that kind of stuff I try and stay away from. It just kind of annoys me, but. This one to me was like, dude, are you fucking stupid? Like, I judge. I don't judge, but I make comments about women's look. I make comments about wrestlers' looks, but I never base their performance or their success off their looks. You know, I'm never like, oh, Nia Jax would be more successful, should drop 60 pounds. You know what I mean? Like, I would never say something like that, even though I kind of just said it. But
well,
you know what I'm just saying it to
I'll
prove
make you feel
a
a little
point.
bit better, but her feud with Alexa Bliss, that was going on. Apparently, I was reading Alexa was very uncomfortable with it. And a big part of it was Nia Jax saying, do it, lay into me, call these things out. So put me on blast. But
no, but I remember during that I saw so many people on Twitter going, oh, how dare they have a body shaming storyline? Fuck, really? Like, why not? It's not a big deal. It's not real, first of all. And second of all, it's not like the end game was you should body shame people.
She won the title at WrestleMania. She won the title. She beat the shit out of her. Everybody was booing her. Like, if you can't put that in because of people's sensitivities, like, that just frustrates the hell out of me. And call me non-progressive and call me a sexist. I don't care. I think you're wrong. Prove me wrong. But what Dave Meltzer did to me was completely different. So coming from a guy who is not overly sensitive about that stuff, when I listened to it and read it and read a couple of things, I was just like, holy shit, is this guy a moron? He was.
Like, he's got... Like, if it was a small podcast, I said it and somebody found it, okay, whatever. But this guy's got a hell of a soapbox to stand on. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Just a bad
move. I can definitely say that. And, you know, the backlash has been brutal. You have WWE superstar Seth Rollins tweeting at him. Basically said, -6 stars, Dave. I thought that was pretty good. Breezango took to him and basically, he didn't even apologize. He kind of was like, we could all learn from this. It's like, dude, you did this. You take responsibility. And Breezango basically, or Tyler Breeze, sorry, made him to apologize eventually. You have Charlotte Flair. You have Billie Kay. Everyone's kind of coming out to support Peyton Royce, which is fantastic to see. I just don't like to see the people who are basically returning fire and saying, oh, well, he's ugly and he's fat. And the one thing, too, that I don't like to see, and I know we live in a sensitive time, and I support the movements of, you know, protecting women's rights and respecting women, but people are like hashtagging Me Too with this. I mean, really, like, come on, you know, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think one is with the other.
You're ruining Me Too. Because Me Too is important, but you're ruining Me Too. You know, that's it.
Anyway, it's so crazy how lightly we have to tread on this, eh? And you know, if we've offended anybody, that wasn't our
definitely not. We love the ladies, and you women work hard, and we respect you.
Everybody works hard. Everybody. All right, so let's get into this. Now, all those things are out of the way. First, I want to start off by saying, fuck you, Irish Whip Podcast.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, you called us out. We took it. If you want to get real personal about it, I don't know, we're at 5,000 followers. I think you guys are like, what, hitting about
How many of them are
now?
real followers? Because all ours are real.
But no, they're a good group of guys, so we don't want to rip them hard, too hard. But let's shoot through our predictions because they've been updated, and we picked them together rather than what we usually do, where we go head to head with one another. So, where do you want to start? You want to start from the bottom? Start from the pre-card up?
Let us do that, my brethren. And just note, again, we're going into this. We have not yet heard their recordings. We're including pre-match cards as well, too. And we'll add little footnotes if we think there may be some funny business.
All right, so what do we got? We got B Team versus the Revival. That's pre-card,
that was
right?
recently added to the pre-card. Now, my opinion, straight up, and I think J-Bomb and I have both agreed on this, they cut a sick promo this week on Raw. They're starting to pick up steam. And hell, the match is on the pre-card, folks. You're not going to see the tag team titles change hands. I don't think it's going to be just yet. So the B Team will retain.
And we're unanimous on that, bro. B Team forever. Sienna... God, Andrade, Cien, Almas. So hard to say. And Zelina Vega. God, I struggle with all these names. Versus Rusev Day.
Rusev and Lana.
Yeah, we were unanimous on this one, too. We got Almas just because, I don't know, I guess we think that...
Yeah, it's going to continue. I think they're pushing towards a Rusev and Rusev and Aiden breakup match. Unless Aiden comes out and saves the day and Rusev Day gets reunited, maybe. But no. Your boys at Talkamania, we're going with Almas and Vega.
All right, cool. That brings us to The Miz and Daniel Bryan. Unfortunately, even though Daniel Bryan's my boy, I don't see him winning this. So we both agree.
The Miz is going to be your winner here, folks. I think this feud is going to be a long one, and I think The Miz is going to win. He's going to hold over Daniel Bryan's head, and he's going to refuse to maybe fight him for a while or, run away and weasel his way out. Daniel Bryan's going to grow. It's going to eat at him alive. So I think you're going to see The Miz picking up the win.
That's bringing us to Corbin versus Balor. No-brainer here. Actually, when we were talking about this, we kind of switched our mind. It isn't really a no-brainer. We picked Balor unanimously, but we both said it's probably going to be Corbin.
Well, we did. We said it's probably going to be Corbin because, first of all, Balor, what's he doing in SummerSlam? You don't really have a match for him. Throw him up against Corbin. It's a big match for Corbin. He's taking on Balor, and it's a big match for Balor because he'll pick up a win at SummerSlam. I still think it's going to be Balor who wins this, but this is a match where you don't know. Maybe Corbin's going to roll him up. Maybe there'll be a DQ, but since it's SummerSlam, I'm going to go with Finn Balor.
Do you want to switch it to Corbin?
Nah,
no?
Let's do Balor. I'm gonna stick with Balor here. And I think this week on Raw, Corbin got the upper hand on Balor. And usually when the guy gets the upper hand on the other opponent, then exactly.
That's true.
And that also brings me to our next match. We have Nakamura versus Jeff Hardy. So this week on SmackDown, we saw Jeff Hardy get the better of Nakamura, hit him with the Swanton bomb. I really think that Nakamura is going to walk away with his title. Now, I think Nakamura could easily win this match. He'll hit a low blow when the ref's looking. He'll hit his Kinshasa and he'll win the match. Who knows? He might even just do a blatant DQ. But Nakamura is going to walk out with the title, that's for sure.
Okay, but this is where it gets a little bit feisty because we don't know if the Irish podcast we haven't listened to their shit. So, and I keep calling them the Irish podcast. Sorry, it's Irish Whip Podcast. My bad, boys. Fuck you guys. But Knack is going to retain. That's what we're saying, right?
Yes.
But he might lose. So, we don't know what you did. So, that's what we're going to end off. Knack retains. But I think Jeff Hardy wins. So, whichever of those two of those happen,
you can't do that.
It happens.
You can't do that.
Well, okay, so what are we saying?
Nakamura is going to... I think he's going to walk away with the title. And if we got to pick... Because it's hard to pick a clear winner. One's going to be DQ, one's could be... Knock's going to win. He'll walk out.
Okay, so he wins.
He wins.
He wins. Because he could walk out with the title with losing, is what I'm saying. So we got to pick if he wins or if Jeff Hardy wins, because Jeff Hardy could win but not win the title.
Nakamura?
Okay, Nakamura. All right. Drew Gallagher versus who?
Cedric Alexander and Drew Gallagher. Probably should have started with this match. So 205 Live title up for line. Cedric up for grabs on the line. Cedric Alexander taking on Drew Gulak. Cedric Alexander has had this title for quite some time now, folks. Who's going to be the man to take it off him? I think it might be Drew Gulak, folks. I think the WWE's been pretty high on this guy. He's an entertaining character. I wish he'd bring back the PowerPoint presentations. But now he's got the Gulak. That's his finisher. And I think
that's such a good name for a finisher.
I think he's going to do it. I think he's going to take the title off of Cedric Alexander.
Okay, so I'm unanimous on it because I have no fucking idea. That's going to bring us to the triple threat for the women's SmackDown Live Championship, Charlotte, Carmella, and Becky. We disagreed on this one.
Originally, but I gave it to you. Yeah, I kind of just felt like Carmella was going to find some way to weasel out with the title, and it'll cause more tension between Becky and Charlotte. But, you wore me down, boy, and I could see Flair taking this one as well, too.
Ouais, Charlotte va gagner ce match, si tabarnak, puis on parle en français, against the Irish Whip Podcast. Charlotte's going to win it and Becky's going to turn heel. That's my prediction.
Woo!
Seth Rollins, Dolph Ziggler. We also disagreed with this one, but I gave it to you.
I don't... Yeah, you thought Ziggler was going to win this one, but I think Rollins will end up winning this match. Dean Ambrose isn't in the corner, so even more so the fact that Ambrose is back, Rollins is going to have to win this match. But I'll take it one step further, and I will say that Ambrose will have a heel turn. If it's not at SummerSlam, which it should be, we talked about this earlier in the podcast, it will be at Monday Night Raw. But end result is Seth Rollins will be winning the Intercontinental Championship back.
See, because in my head I just see Dean Ambrose screws Seth in the match, hits him with the chair. Rollins wins by DQ. Ziggler is still the champion, and Seth goes, "You cost me the IC championship." And then Dean's like, "You cost me 9 months of my career, WrestleMania."
Yeah, but to be smart, he can also get a title out of it.
They can have a program without it. Yeah, but I don't know. Dean Ambrose with the title, I don't like it. But anyways.
Oh, neither do I.
Kevin Owens, Braun Strowman. We were unanimous with Kevin Owens winning this because we will never pick against Kevin Owens.
He's a boy. He's a Montreal boy. But it's funny because early in the week, he listened to our podcast. J-Bomb did go with Braun Strowman. So you're a liar.
Oh, fuck. You caught me red-handed. It was.
So there you go, folks. It's going to be Kevin Owens. We think it's going to be him that's going to be cashing in, actually, at the end as well, too. We think he'll be ending the...
That's a whole
nother can of worms.
The Bludgeon Brothers. Who are they facing?
Your boys, the New Day.
Ah, shit. Sorry, New Day. We picked the Bludgeon Brothers, eh?
We picked the... Oh, I kind of... Well, I initially thought it was going to be the New Day, but then I can see the feud maybe going to Hell in a Cell. So you ended up convincing me, and I'm going to go with you.
Raphael convinced you.
Well, I still went with the New Days in that in that earlier podcast we did this week, and you had gone with the Bludgeon Brothers. So, you compromised with me a little bit. I'm going to compromise with you. Bludgeon Brothers, but finally going to face an opponent that isn't a jobber or a local. So we'll see how they do.
Seriously.
Bludgeon Brothers.
AJ versus Samoa Joe. I think it's a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, AJ Styles. This is a long feud as well, too. I think they're going to go to Hell in a Cell. I could see Samoa Joe being the one to take the title off of AJ Styles. I just don't see it being yet. So AJ Styles, your man's walking out with the title.
Because he's the face that runs
the chant that runs the camp.
Ronda Rousey versus Alexa Bliss. We do not see eye to eye.
I think you're the only one who doesn't see eye to eye on this one.
Yeah, well, you'll be taking me to dinner, and I'm really seriously willing to put money on this one, that Alexa Bliss is going to walk out, but I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you because you're my friend, and you are pretty good at picking stuff.
There's actually a rumor that this could actually main event SummerSlam.
Oh my God, you think so?
There's a heavy rumor, but it's going to be Brock Lesnar and Reigns. I feel like I would think inevitably, but...
Yeah, it's got to be. It's got to be. Because I think it's going to take away from Evolution, too, if there's a major
I think it'll be the second to last match, maybe on the card.
I bet you it'll be third, because they third to last, because they tend to do that. They put a sleeper between it, and I think that's the biggest mistake. It should be them. I agree. It should be like the second best, and then the main event. So, that brings us to the main event. Roman Reigns versus
Roman Reigns.
Yeah. Who you got, bruh?
I mean, I think 4 battles. I think Roman Reigns is due for one. And we saw the big beatdown on Raw this week, too. I think this match is going to be grueling. It's going to be a brutal match. But I think this is the match where we finally see Roman Reigns getting a win over Brock Lesnar, only to have his dreams and hope and love for his Universal title that he just won snatched away from him by the man cashing in the Money in the Bank briefcase, and that will be KO.
Yeah, 100% on all of that. And if they actually do that, I'm going to be so happy. It's going to make for such good
SummerSlam
TV.
in general. SummerSlam in general is looking to be really exciting. It's a pretty good card, top to bottom. I'm excited. It's going to be an exciting show. We're up against Irish Whip Podcast. We're going to whip Irish Whip Podcast's ass. And, hey, man, Canada, bring it on, eh?
Yeah, we better whip their ass, and we'll be all over Periscope talking shit while we do it. That's what we do. We're going to be drunk, and we're going to be doing it. And that wraps up another episode of Talkamania. So we got SummerSlam on Sunday. You're coming over. Everyone's really coming over because we're going to Periscope the shit out of it. It's going to be a long one, so maybe we don't Periscope between every match because we got to have fun and time to drink as well. But yeah, guys, join us on Periscope. I'm pretty sure it's at Talkamania over there. Follow us on the Twitter, @_Talkamania. Be like Pete. Be like Peteopolis.
Love you, Pete.
Go buy a t-shirt. Go buy a t-shirt on ProWrestlingTees.com/Talkamania. Support the podcast. It's $20. It goes a long way. It helps us bring more content to you. And we're going to put it in the fund at WrestleMania. And if you join us at WrestleMania, we're going to be giving away shit all fucking weekend. I've decided it for us. So, until Sunday, J-Bomb's out. Dez, say
Happy
bye.
Rusev Day. Crush.
Suckers walk! Ugh.